We are a channel that appreciates its viewers. We give our utmost effort for the best quality content, and we even push for the highest quality effort when it comes to how we look for you on screen.
Hi. When I need my skin to look its absolute best when I'm blowing the heads off zombies, I set my ring light to 4700K. Because I care. Maybe he's born with it.
Join our community. Join a channel that loves its viewers. Join this channel because we care.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Kyber Cave After Dark. We're doing things a little bit different this week. So, I am the great and mighty Fours FX, joined by my husband, Graveyard.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going fantastic, and I'm going to tell you why, because we are running the show. See this? I'm the captain now.
Look at me.
Look at me. I'm captain now. All right, so tomorrow is KyberCon 3. So Van and Mezzo are, and Phil from Distance Learning and James from Distance Learning are doing everything that they can to get ready for this enormous event. It is going to be huge. So before we get things started, let's go ahead and just take a moment and go over what is going on. We have KyberCon 3 2023, February 11th. It is going to be at the Fairview Elementary Multipurpose Room. That is 830 First Street, Fairfield, California. They have costume contests and hourly giveaways, guest panels, demonstrations, and vendors. Tickets are $10 in advance. This is your last night to get them. There will be 15 at the door tomorrow. Children under 10 are free. First 50 people in costume are going to get a $5 coupon to use at the vendors. So, starting from the top, this is your very last opportunity, if you are a Squid Games fan, to get John D. Michael's picture, autograph, talk to him, say what's up, tell him how much you appreciated the show. This is the only time he's going to be in the United States. He will be at this con. So this is your shot to meet him. Also, we have Tommy Bechtold, who's going to be pretty much hosting this thing. He is the leader of New Rockstars, accompanied by Eric Voss. We will have Josh Pila there, who's going to be doing some crazy flow stuff, and Alan Fernandez, who was an original Tusken Raider in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Joining all of these fine folks, you're going to have our friends James and Phil from our sister channel Distance Nerding, who will be DJing this thing and making sure everything is just nice and loud and for you. It's just going to be phenomenal. You're also going to have an opportunity to meet our producer Mezzo. You're going to have the opportunity to meet our resident expert, amazing, super handsome drag queen Anthony, aka Rubik's Q Arcana. You are going to have the opportunity to meet the one and only Mrs. Fours herself, the genius singer, actress, musician Aubrey McCoy, and of course you're going to meet Kyber Daddy himself, Van. They will all be there representing Kyber Cave Productions, and just taking part in this amazing con. Guys, I'm not even joking. This is, for a con this small, a guest lineup like this is super rare. This is major. So, again, 10 in advance. Go to kybercave.com for more information. 15 at the door. If you're going to show up tomorrow, we highly recommend you share this around. If you live in the Fairfield area or within 50 miles of it, take a day. Go check it out. It's going to be worth it. And I'm not, and I can't be there. I'm in Florida, so that freaking sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we have myself. We have the gravy train. And we have this hotness down here, the Frey girl. Hey, Jen.
Hey guys, what's up?
How are you, hon?
Hey.
I was a little late. I was actually trying to figure out what I wanted to call myself. So it took the longest. I'm like, okay, here's a shirt, got some pants on. All right, my hair looks okay. It's a little puffy, but whatever.
Shirt, pants, we're covered. We're good. We're on it.
I'm looking at it.
We're
and I'm
on
like,
with it.
oh, okay, Frey girl, but what am I gonna call myself? I was like, so I went with that.
Seriously.
Yeah.
All right, so starting at the top of the comments section. Oh my gosh, Swisted. Who got what's up to Swisted Films?
What up,
Hey.
Twisted?
Say Wong was asking if the show will be on time. Say Wong, the husbeards delivered.
Yes.
Just letting you know. Putting
And,
it
you
out
know,
there.
Sometimes I am a cliche and I'm late. So
We still love you.
Yes.
All right. Graveyard says, for you, Say Wong, we were on time.
Of course.
And of course, there was a poll to see if we were going to start on time. And guess what? Anybody who bet against us, you lost. Oh my God.
yeah,
So
basic.
Say Wong's going to get his costume ready for tomorrow.
Oh.
Is it going to be a Ghostbuster?
Yeah, we're just talking
May-
Ghostbuster stuff.
Oh.
No Alice frame just yet.
Mm,
Let's see. And Van
So
just
does-
added Cool Jawa Tim Donaldson to the docket. So
Mhm.
that's going to be freaking awesome. Let's go. All right, kids. Well, tonight, what we have going on, because I didn't make a banner for it, but I'm going to tell you what we have. 2 subjects.
Mhm.
Numero uno. We have spying on us. Balloons, apps, the internet, social media.
Your neighbors, the
Your
dog.
neighbor?
People with high-powered binoculars.
Our phones that say
Maybe.
Kyber Cave.
They do. They sure say Kyber Cave.
Mine does not.
And subject
don't
number
have this
2
sticker.
tonight is going to be, ooh, that's badassery. Subject number 2 tonight is going to be a concoction of this guy's making. We are going to be nerding it up.
Yes.
We have, and to steal a formula from Distance Nerding, we've got trailers, we've got comic book stuff, we got all kinds of shit.
Yep.
So anyway, so without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen,
What is it
Tonight's-
that Snoop says? For shizzle, for rizzle, or something?
so tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Dubby. Wait, wrong show. I'm sorry.
We
I
love
should
you,
do it,
Debbie,
but-
but you're not sponsoring us. So we
No, you're
can't
not
talk
sponsoring.
about
Not
you
sponsored.
anymore.
Nope, and we're not using Podex either, so I'm so sorry.
I mean, well, we just.
Hey, they mostly pot out at night, mostly.
I mean, we are a
Hey,
sponsor.
actually, Gravy, I do want to talk to you about something. My son did a short horror film for
Mhm.
when in high school, and he put it on his YouTube. I'll give you the link later
Yes,
if you want to
please.
watch it. It's
Oh, I
really
do.
cool. There's no monsters in it or anything. It's really it's so innovative. And he would have won an award, but he decided to go outside the brief. So
Ah.
All right, let's get started, you guys. So
Do it.
first subject, we're going to talk it into the ground, and then we're going to move on. So this past week on the radio, I go to work listening to I listen to talk radio while I drive my customers around, and I've got a station down here which it's literally talk radio morning to night, and then they go into music. And all anybody's been talking about, aside from Hogwarts Legacy, has been this spy balloon. Like, we done shot it down. Woo, yeehaw! And everybody's all going crazy over it, and we're being spied on. And Jen, give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts on. Do
sorry,
you
you caught me taking pictures of my dog because she was giving me the side eye look, and I needed to. Yeah, I was like taking pictures of her. I was like, okay, all right, before she moves. You know how it is when dogs are doing something cute. As soon as you get the camera out, they move. So
Mhm.
Seriously.
I
So,
was like,
Jen, give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts on what's been going on with this this balloon. How we responded to it. Do you think it did any good at all? What do you think?
Well, first I'm going to say something very important. I think everyone needs to listen to this. I always feel like somebody's watching me.
Got no privacy.
As soon as I saw the topics, I was like singing it. So I figured I needed to sing it. But no, with as technologically advanced as our society is, a spy balloon, although yes, clever because low tech. They were doing spy balloons in the 50s. I mean, this wasn't, we did it. Do I think it got any information? I think it probably got some, but I don't think it got any more information than they probably already knew. So, which is why they're like, hey, can you give us the balloon back? So,
That was our only one.
yeah, I'm so sorry. We had 3, and 2 of them are over your country right now. So can you please give us this one back?
Seriously. Graveyard,
Yeah.
what's your thoughts?
I don't think this is anything new. I'm surprised that we're so paranoid about it because you know what? I'm pretty sure the United States does the same thing. That's face
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Everyone's spying on everyone, except we just don't have a giant white balloon everywhere that we know of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a balloon. There's so much more information that you can get just from the internet itself than a drone or a camera or listening device attached to the balloon. It's kind of low tech, in my opinion, to do what they did. Now, maybe it's unexpected because we would never expect someone to have a balloon over us, but I mean, we've been doing it forever. So
Yeah.
it's part of the world.
Yeah, and part of the explanation I was hearing was that the reason why a balloon was used is because, sure, we can get satellite images, but the rate of speed that the satellite travels way from above the Earth, it's not going to be as precise or as exact as if you have something that's quite literally floating over land. So I think, what they were concluding is that they were trying to get more precise pictures of spots throughout the country to more or less see what the heck is going on. But guys, let me make this real simple for you. You go on TikTok, look at YouTube shorts, look at our television, listen to the talk radio stations, listen to every podcaster from America, listen to basically anybody just spilling their guts. It doesn't take much to spy on any country in this world at all. Just listen to what people are talking about.
It would take less money to just come up to somebody and be like, hey, you want to spy for us? I mean, it's like, our economy's in the toilet everywhere. So talk about like people, ready to spy. I don't want to spy. I am not a spyer. I just want to go on record. I'm not for being a spyer for another country. I did at one point think maybe of being a spy person for the U.S., but I have not done that.
I mean, what if it was Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase and you're spies like them?
Yes. That would totally be it. I would not be like a Black Widow or anything. I'd be like both of them in Spies Like Us. I'd be like, hello, la, la, la. Mr. Bean,
Yeah.
I'd be that person. So, but so I honestly, I think, I think it's right. We've been doing this for so long. And that whole thing of the balloon, it's like, okay, yeah, you boys brought a balloon over here. And everybody freaked out about it, and then they waited till it went all the way across America and then shot it down over the ocean. So obviously the government's not that concerned about China.
Not to mention the fact that we used over $10 million worth of military equipment to bring down a $10,000 balloon. I mean, I'm not saying we spent that money, but if we were going to put a dollar amount on, what was used versus what was brought down, I don't know. I don't know. Last week we dove, Graveyard, you remember this. Last week we dove into AI.
That's 2 weeks ago.
Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yep, I wasn't here last week.
Yeah, I
I'm
wasn't
old.
either. So yeah.
So 2 weeks ago we dove into AI, and it's really nuts because um, lately, and we were actually going to talk about this a little bit later in the segment. We can hit it now. Google just put out a brand new program called Bard, which is supposed to be ChatGPT's direct competitor. Now, if you don't know what ChatGPT or Bard is, it's an AI program where if you basically feed it, X amount of minutes or hours of you speaking, it will replicate the voice and then spit its own ideas out. Matter of fact, ChatGPT just got in trouble with Twitch this past week because they had an AI Jerry Seinfeld, and it went into poking fun at transgender
Oh no.
community. So it got a strike from Twitch. So I guess they had to pull that down, and they had to reprogram and kind of teach it, this is not an acceptable thing.
That's what I would be the most worried about anyway, is it saying something and I'm like, no, that's not me. I don't believe that at all. You know what I mean? Because once you program it, it doesn't have a moral compass or know what your beliefs are. It's just spouting out stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Now, the way it's set up currently is that what you can do is if it knows your voice and it can replicate your voice well enough, if you type stuff in, it will go ahead and speak in your voice. But it can't. But it has yet to, appropriately figure out what your mannerisms are going to be. So, for example, Jen, if you were to be like, "Hey, this is Frey Girl," and you start every sentence with "Hey, this is Frey Girl" with that level of excitement, it's naturally going to start itself off like that. Whereas if you feed it, "Hey, this is Frey Girl," and then you give it 26 different variations of "Hey, this is Frey Girl," then it will, based upon what you type, it will choose what mood it wants to be in and then feed it back to you. It's nuts. We have a radio station here, Real Radio, and on the midday show, the News Junkie, all of the guests, all of the hosts, they fed a lot of their commercial spots into this program, and they were, oh my God, this program spat back out perfect, like their voices perfectly. I mean,
wow,
perfectly. It was scary. I'm willing to bet that commercial spots, at the bare minimum, commercial spots are going to be done in AI if they're not being done already. You get a famous person's voice in there, like the guy from Pulp Fiction. He's the same guy who's like, "Arby's, we have the meats." That's him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? I didn't know that was the same guy.
Yeah. If they get enough recordings of him, Arby's has an unlimited amount of commercial spots. All they have to do is pay him royalties for X amount of hours of his voice being used, and soon enough, it won't even be his voice. It'll be ownership of the AI. So that's a really scary concept.
How is that any different than what we did with James Earl Jones in Kenobi?
I was just getting ready to mention that.
It isn't different. It's not different at all. It's the same thing with Mark Hamill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill was the same way, because Mark cannot be his 25-year-old self anymore. Right. He can't be his 29-year-old self anymore. So Mark in so Vader in Kenobi, and then Mark in Boba Fett, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But that's earlier tech. They did this a couple of years ago. What they can do now is scary.
With the Mandalorian Boba Fett thing with Luke, they actually used him and used another person and created his face, but he was there just to talk. He actually was there. So yeah, it was a couple of years ago, but yeah, for the people that, if we want to do things and have like the prequel of something, and we don't want to use that weird uncanny valley like de-aging thing and actually really create it and do their voices and all that. Yeah, I mean, I could see that, but I don't know. This whole AI thing, they will kill us one day.
Well, you have to get multiple generations of AI to even get to that point. First generation AI is going to do nothing.
Yeah.
Second generation AI isn't going to do anything. It's the third generation is when the robots start creating, the AI starts creating other AI is where you get into that problem. So, I mean, that's really the thing. This level, to what Forge was saying with the AI for, Twitch with Seinfeld, you guys remember that robot head that people fed it stuff on Twitter and would become the most racist thing ever on the tweets and stuff like that? I mean, you're talking about there's no moral compass, but let's face it, most people don't have a filter on themselves anymore anyway.
Correct.
True.
I mean, we can get away with coarse language on our show as it is.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, it comes back to, are we being spied on? Well, I mean, if you take the word spy away and you put the word listen, yes, we are being listened to. We are on the internet right now. We're being listened to. Our phones right now are, I don't give a shit what anybody says. This thing is listening to me because I can pull up Instagram or Facebook right now and it's going to give me some sort of, it's probably going to tell me, hey, would you like to download Replica AI?
Right. Yeah.
No, Replica, I'm not ready for you yet because I'm not there in that level of depression that I'm going to need you.
This just happened to me, and it's a funny story, but I'm going to tell you, and my husband's going to be mortified that I told this, but
then don't tell it, honey.
No, he's in there, and if he gets mad, I'll hear it. Oh, and also on Tuesday, he was like, Summer always says Grandpa Rick, and I was like, that's why I said it. So anyway, that's totally off topic, but so my dogs, and we all have pets, so we know sometimes your dogs get a little gassy, and their gas smells horrible, right?
We call that dog farts.
Yeah, dog farts. And actually, in our house, we call them acid farts. And
my dog heard you say that.
Yeah. Usually they get really excited when you say something like that. But yeah, so I'm like, man, I was like, which one of you farted? Oh my gosh, this smells horrible. Which one of you farted? And they're both looking at me like, we didn't do it. I don't know what you're talking about. Proxy got really offended. And then Chuck's like, they didn't do it. I did. And so I'm on Twitter like 2 minutes later, and I follow this person that does corgi, like little corgi illustrations, and they're doing the love is with corgis and like Shiba Inus and stuff. And it said, love is loving your partner, whether they're smelly or not. And it was like one of them was farting, the other one had like a little nose thing, and oh my gosh. And so I had to send it to him. I was like, this is so perfect. Now, do I think that really happened because of that? No. Because I follow this person on Twitter, but it was just like really coincidental. And I've always thought that when people were like, no, don't take the COVID vaccine because they're putting trackers in you. I was like, oh, are you typing this on your phone? Because that's what's tracking you. Not anything in your body. They don't have to put anything in your body. They're just tracking you anyway.
I mean, I went on a little rant on that, I think 2 weeks ago. I talked about the dangers of this device. If you don't want anyone to know anything, don't put it anywhere.
Yeah,
just don't. But we share so much of our personal lives now with the world, with strangers, realistically, that we just put it on the internet, and it's you get what you pay for, right? If everything's free, then they can sell it off and make their millions of dollars because you're not paying for this service. It's free. So they sell your information to get these targeted ads on YouTube, to get all this stuff. So, if you just paid for the apps, then they wouldn't have to get the revenue from other sources by selling your personal information. But
they'd still do it.
They would, but then you have recourse. You're saying, I'm paying for this service. I didn't say you can give away, in the EULA agreement, you can't do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, let's face it, every time you go to a store, you buy something, what's your email address? What's your phone number? Yeah, we're just going to send you targeted stuff, and you just don't do it. But it's always been that way. PI, personal information, is always there. Banks sell your information too. Everyone sells everyone else's information.
Yeah.
There's nothing personal anymore. And the more people do it, it's just becoming more like that. I am a big advocate of when you go on vacation, don't post pictures while you're there. Don't tell people you're out of the country, you're away from your house. You do it after the fact. but most people don't do that.
No, because it's, I want to show you how much my life is
Mhm.
fantastic.
Do it afterwards.
Do it
Do
afterwards.
Afterwards, when you get
Yes.
home, then post your pictures and be like, "Hey guys, I had money for 2 weeks, and now for the rest of the year, I'm effing broke as
Right.
you."
Yeah.
Right. And it's when I go on vacation, I don't post anything. I go with my family. The first time doing it with the family, I told my sister, because she posts stuff all the time. I
Mhm.
go, don't tell anyone we're gone. Please don't. Like, just do it. Don't do it. And so I have a Ring doorbell. You guys saw my horror movie Ring doorbell film that happened. I have cameras and monitors and stuff like that, but it's just for, when I'm not home, I can check on the dogs. I can have, the thermostats turn off my HVAC if it detects smoke or anything like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, that's why I say technology is a blessing and a curse. It
Double-edged
really
sword.
is. Yeah, it's both. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to have all of this stuff at our fingertips, but if people don't think that we live in a surveillance state, they are so wrong. Everybody instead of imprisoning people and making them think things, they just use our own information against us and know what our weaknesses are and how to get to us. And they do that, and it's perfectly legal how they do it.
But we put ourselves willingly in that position.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely do.
Yep.
Us doing this YouTube show, we do that. Us
Yes.
having the trackers that, you have your GPS. You can tell,
Mhm.
hey, on January 6th, you drove the most miles away from your house
Yeah.
to this thing. Thanks, Google.
Yeah.
But Google Maps has a picture of my house that's 10 years old.
Right. Maybe that's what the Chinese spy balloons, they actually purchased Google and they were just updating that part of the map.
I mean, if you want to get conspiracy theory, where's your phone made?
Right? No, I don't. We were talking about that. I was talking about how I guess China's gross national product is actually supposed to overstrip the US's, I think,
Mhm.
this year or next year. And I was like, well, of course, I said, they don't have to invade anywhere. My son was talking about them invading Taiwan. I was like, they don't have to invade anywhere. They've got all of our information. Like half the crap that we have or more is from China. So it's like, and Japan was doing it. Remember all the Japanese cars and all the Japanese TVs, and then
I
suddenly
like
it all
my Japanese
stopped.
car.
Right, but I mean, it's
My Toyota's very reliable.
yes, it is. But that, I mean,
So's my Sony TV.
right? Hey, I have a Sony TV too.
Hell yeah,
So
girl.
I totally get it. But I mean, that's it. They don't have to invade or take over our country because we rely on them so much.
Well,
So, okay, I'm glad that you said that. So that actually brings up another really, really good question. Now, I ask this question with the assumption that there is no ill intent. We all on the screen know that there is ill intent.
Mhm.
But I'm going to ask this on the
Not
basis
everyone, not everyone, but I would say the people that I think science is inherently good. Science
Yeah.
wants to keep us progressing so that we live longer, things get better for us. I do believe that, but when science gets research and development involved and companies involved, that's where the corruption comes in, and that's where the ill intent comes in. I don't
Thank
think
you.
a scientist, because I don't think Einstein ever thought, hey, if I come up with this, they're gonna bomb Japan, or they're gonna use this bomb for, to kill people or whatever. He was just trying to come up with an equation as a solution to a problem. And I think
Correct.
that's where scientists are mostly.
Right. So, and that was actually going to be my question. Do we think at this point the spying, is it even necessary if we find that most citizens, actually this is a better word to use, citizens, most citizens want to work, have their friends, be social, and also just be left alone. If everybody can just mind their own and also be friendly and social, have a nice level of camaraderie, what's even the point of the spying? Because everybody is going, we know that everybody's going to react to something.
Mhm.
It would get, if none of us reacted to anything, we would have nothing to talk about. We wouldn't have movies to bitch and gripe about. We wouldn't have sports to, throw our beer cans and popcorn around the living room about. I mean, people like to do things together. They like to laugh together. They like to cry together. They like to cheer for their favorite star together. They like to say, we are not creatures of loneliness. We like doing things together for the most part.
Oh yeah.
So if we are creating things to help bring us together to endorse all of this unity, what is the point of spying and trying to secretly seek out what our interests are? For God's sakes, man, we know what our interests are. We have so many different pieces of media that we can look at. This doesn't even include real life. This doesn't even include when your kid is 6 and you are going to their first soccer game. That's not even media. That's just something you're enjoying with other parents together. There's so many, we are so drowned in activity and entertainment and the need to be entertained. There's no point in spying. There just isn't. Because somebody somewhere is going to provide a source of activity or entertainment for your brain. Do we agree upon that?
Yeah.
Oh
absolutely.
yeah.
Graveyard thoughts.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think, I would say that the idea of the spying isn't on, like with the balloon, wasn't for the citizen. It's government spy that's usually the issue, that the government secrets. But I mean, let's face it, when the White House and the Pentagon all got on the internet, that was the worst thing that could possibly happen. You have access then. It wasn't a person physically going in there, having to get past security, having to have the camera get past and doing all that stuff. It's, I can be, and it's called a script kiddie. You could be a 13-year-old kid in another country and try to hack another government. It happens. And so we lose, by being this disconnected, we lose the physical boundaries needed to get past to get to these secrets that people are after.
Oh yeah. No, I agree. I think that, it comes back to that double-edged sword, thing where, if they didn't, then a majority of people would call them not transparent and not looking after the people if they weren't on social media and stuff like that. But then again, when they are, that's another avenue to hack into a system to get sensitive information. And I mean, we're talking about, like, there's been this story about presidents and top secret documents. Not just one president, it's a couple. And I'm pretty sure if you went to Reagan's house, he would have documents too. Clinton, documents. There, it happens.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't even want to start with that conversation, but just as an example, I mean, obviously it's pretty easy to get these, to get this stuff done, to get documents. You can take documents out of the White House and it doesn't seem to be that big of a deal anymore. But it's that double-edged sword. It's like, if they're screwed if they do, they're screwed if they don't. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of what where I sit with it. I'm like, well, do I not want anybody to know anything about me, or do I want to be on the internet? And I just go, well, maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow. Or yes, absolutely, I want to be on the internet today. And, I want people to know stuff. But, you have
Yeah.
to kind of figure it out yourself. And I do agree that spy balloon was not about, hey, I got to find Mrs. X or I've got to find Mr. Jones or whatever. It was about what kind of facilities can we see? What kind, if we were to bomb, where are the best targets and things like that. And there are so many other ways now to get that. I wonder if it was a diversion personally.
It could have been just a test to see how far it can get before we know a simple device like a balloon versus a more complex satellite and stuff like that.
My thing is this. What if it were a homegrown thing out of some rich person's garage right here in the States using Chinese parts?
Yeah, we wouldn't know.
I mean, we're putting so much tension on this. Like, it takes me back to Chris Rock getting slapped. I still believe that was more of a diversionary tactic than this. Because that's the kind of crap that everybody pays attention to. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I hate talking about this, but I still have faith in the little guy, and our world is so full of little people who have the ability to do such great and big things together. A gun holds how many bullets? How many?
I don't know. It depends on the
Graveyard,
type of gun.
Hey! Just because I'm from Indiana doesn't mean
no. But
Look,
you're our horror expert. There's lots of guns in horror movies.
There are. I don't have guns.
I want to say I think a revolver holds 6 and
6 to 8. Let's go 6 to 8.
Yeah, and then like a 9mm or something like that. I think it's 13 in the sleeve. And
okay.
And that's because one goes in the chamber. I think that's it, but I don't know. I could probably find out, and I could ask my husband because he was in the military. So he might know.
So a gunman has 6 bullets and 10 people. Who's going to win?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, it depends on if he has any friends, but yeah, absolutely.
By himself,
then the other people will win once it's,
Like I said,
or
other people.
As individual, as small people with big dreams, not many things stand in our way.
Just get 2 Florida Man on bath salts, and they just need 2 of them. They'll take him down and start eating his face.
Y'all tune in next Wednesday night for the Florida Man Bath Salt Podcast, where we're going to review all kinds of. Hold my beer, son.
Yes. I mean, and back to this whole thing. I think the more people accept and get rid of the tinfoil hats and think that this is a spy state, that this is a watch state, the more people accept it, that it's going to happen. It's just reality at this point in time.
Yeah.
We can't put too much emphasis on this anymore because we all do it. We all get confused. Like, hey, why is Alexa, Google, Siri, why is everyone listening to me? I don't get it. Why I put these devices into my house? We willingly do it. We should knowingly know what we're doing with this technology and just accept it at this point in time.
There is a price to be paid for convenience, whether it's a larger amount of money or a little bit of quote unquote freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to put it that way, but there's a reason why if you speak something into existence and it's all of a sudden being shown to you on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's just how algorithms work. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not harming you. It's not the Ring. The little girl's not coming out of your phone to choke you to death. It's not happening that way.
Yet.
It's not? Oh.
Most of
That's why I put my phone face down that night so she can't get out.
So if she can do push-ups, she'll be all like, yeah. I think we've put spying in the ground. I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
So the husband said it depends on the model.
Yep.
So apparently,
Oh yeah.
we're all. It really depends on the type of gun and the model as far as how many bullets are in there. But
Exactly.
so,
So you guys, that's pretty much what's been going on for the week. That was the big piece of news, the Chinese spy balloon, and
well, you guys know since I took my break for media and all that, like I haven't really been watching the news. Like I've been purposefully avoiding any kind of like news thing. I'm just like, no, I'm I'm done. I watch Kyber Cave stuff. I watch distance nerding stuff. I watch new Rockstar stuff. I watch
hope-
Star Wars.
I hope you
watch,
listen to a pod.
I do listen. I listen to They Mostly Pod Out at Night. Mostly. Is that's yours, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Metso,
no,
are you cursing? Stop it.
I think she's trying to say assess. You know her phone doesn't work right, so.
Right.
I'm just picturing her going ass.
Yeah. Oh no, maybe she turned part snake.
Speaking parcel tongue.
Okay. All right. So next subject. Graveyard, are you ready to nerd out?
I am ready to nerd out. It's
Good.
almost like a pilot episode, if you will.
It is going to be absolutely glorious. I am so ready for this. We got so much to cover, and I'm so glad Jen is here because she's gonna flip the freak out over it.
Mhm.
And I've got some oh my goodness, oh my damn. Fours went to the comics shop today
You
and bought some
did.
stuff. So we'll talk about that. Graveyard,
Yes.
why don't you get us
Why don't
started?
you take the screen?
Why don't you take the
All right.
screen?
Oh, okay. Okay. So this is let's call it a backdoor pilot, if you will, in TV terms. We are testing a nerd out segment that we want to get produced and start going. Yes, it's not copy and distance or anything. It's going to be our own take on stuff like that. And
Kyber.
yeah, exactly.
Nerding cave, Kyber.
Yes.
Nerd,
Well,
Kyber distance. What?
James backdoor on this thing. So there's a couple of things that we want to discuss, and we'll get the Marvel part out of the way first, I'd say. And I just want to get your guys' thoughts on the news that Patrick Stewart is coming back as Xavier for Deadpool 3. Now, here's different thoughts. Obviously, Logan was a fantastic movie, and as everyone has stated, that it's not touching that. And we obviously had Xavier come back in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Now with
97
Yes.
X-Men
yes,
Xavier, because that was 97. That was
Right.
a different Xavier, but yes, I
But-
understand what you're saying.
but does anyone feel that him coming back is going to be a tarnish on the end of Logan
No.
as a whole?
No.
Because we've learned through Doctor Strange
Mm-hmm.
that and Loki, we're
Right.
playing with the multiverse now.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Well-
which Charles Xavier is coming back?
Who knows? We
Exactly.
really don't know. I mean, the idea is, they always say it's a multiverse hopping that till Deadpool 3 is going to be that he's going to break the universe, right? But at what point in time do we say we
Amen,
need to
James.
get someone other than Patrick Stewart to play Xavier?
Well, I really feel like after this multiverse saga, I think that's gonna solidify who is who in the MCU. Like
Mhm.
once we finish the Secret Wars,
Mhm.
we should know this person survived their Charles Xavier. This person survived their Hawkeye. This person survived their, on and on and on.
Right.
And so I think that's I think it's a good idea. I think the Charles Xavier that I want is not the one. I mean, I love the Charles Xavier from Logan because he's batshit crazy, and I love him as that.
Yeah.
But I would really like to see McAvoy come back. I'd like to see that Charles Xavier. I want to see that, this guy who hasn't been as jaded from having all of these students and having to keep Jean in check and all of this stuff. And I'd like to see that wide-eyed. I'd love to see a younger Charles Xavier, but I don't think they're going to do that. I do think they'll bring Patrick back. I think something will happen. I think it'll be more comedic.
Mm-hmm.
And Patrick Stewart is awesome in comedies. I've seen
Right.
him in a lot, and he's really good. I'm a huge Patrick Stewart fan, and so I'd love to see it. It couldn't hurt, but I'd rather see a younger one, but I don't think they will. I think they'll probably give us the one after Days of Future Past. I think that's what we'll get.
And I think Cedric Smith should be cast because he played Xavier in the animated X-Men of the 90s, and he's still alive, and he's already bald. So I think if he
Is that
came
all
back,
it takes? All right. Let me.
Grave Xavier.
Grave Xavier. No, it'd be Grave X.
Yes.
Grave X.
Yes.
See, James, you need to go ahead and just click the link and get on the show so you can straighten us out.
Right,
Yes,
James.
we are in the 616. I mean, there's obviously, Frey, you and I know a certain channel's opinions on what's going to happen in the multiverse saga. We watch all their crap, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't disagree with that. The Secret
We
Wars
watch all of their wonderful shows.
We do, and that Secret Wars is going to be the culmination of every universe, and then it's all going to collapse back down into one, and we'll get pieces from each different universe, and that's who our next lineup will be.
Well, that's happened in DC a lot. Like the Crisis on Infinite Earths, they had all the Infinite Earths and they smushed them together into one. You had some weird stuff happen because of that. Wonder Woman got rebooted. I mean, it was, and then they did it again, and then they did it again. And then they redid their multiverse, and you had all this stuff. And so, and comic book companies do that often. I mean,
they have to hit that reset. And I think what we're going to see is Marvel's hard reset.
Yeah. Oh, I think so too.
That it is this phase 6 is the hard reset. Mm-hmm. That it's taking, we're looking to end of 2026, essentially at this point in time. That it'll be 18 years of MCU and 26 years of most Marvel properties. We can even go back to Blade in 97, which I'm pretty sure he's going to come back at some point in time too.
If he does, I'll go Buffy on his ass, but okay. I do not like Wesley Snipes, and no one will change my mind.
But even if he's from Tu Wong Fu with Love.
I loved him in that, and I still don't like him. Okay? Every dog has his day.
But I mean, it's how many times are we going to have the last hurrah for these people? Is Secret Wars going to be the last hurrah? Or are we still going to be clamoring for Patrick Stewart to always do it? Are we still be clamoring for the people to do it? And it's not to go too far off topic. I'd rather see a new person cast, and so people can get over it. I don't need to have. I want the character to continue without the original actor that we grew up with.
Ouch.
I love him. I would love for him to play. I would love for him to play Professor X.
Right.
Until not until his death. I want him to have a wonderful retirement whenever he decides. But no, I do think that we need a new one. It's like MCU is newer, and they're like, hey, this is the comic book universe. We're bringing that to life, and and they're trying all this stuff, and they're doing all these things. I do think if they do bring him back, it's going to be one of those. I think Deadpool's the perfect place to bring him back as kind of a final, hey, look, we realized that we asked you to come back for Mom, and then we just totally killed you. So we're going to have you come back here and say, hey, our Professor X isn't dead. His fate's actually in Logan with him, with that Wolverine. And so having him come back in Deadpool, it seems pretty. It's a good idea. I think it's a fun idea. It's something that Ryan Reynolds couldn't really do in the other ones. Like he could, and he couldn't. And there were some issues, and I know Hugh Jackman was just like, absolutely not. I don't want to do this again. But I think it's a good idea. And I think Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds in a movie together is going to be fucking awesome. Because they're all so
It is.
good.
It is.
And
I agree.
I just think Ryan Reynolds the whole time is going to be trying to crack up Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart in some form or another. And I think that's going to be amazing. I do feel like maybe we need a new Xavier. I think at the end of the multiverse saga, we will have a new Professor Xavier. I'm going on record now.
Noted. If you're wrong, that's a strike against you.
Gen certified, right there.
There you go. I mean, what about you, Forrest? I know if you said ouch to replacing people, but if we went with the ouch logic, then we shouldn't have Cyclops in X-Men 97, right?
But Norm Spencer passed away.
But I'm saying, we have to recast him.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I'd rather have Cyclops continue with someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course, and in that in that frame of mind, this is where voiceover impersonators are going to be perfect for this. You don't have to have a celebrity try to come into their own and try to be this character. This is where if you have somebody who's done it right and done it right the first time and they pass away or they're not offered the part or whatever stupid financial reason, you have somebody who can impersonate them perfectly, step in and do the role.
Right.
It's been done before. It's actually been done with Ian McKellen for Lord of the Rings, because in a lot of the Lord of the Rings games that came out for both GameCube, PS2, and Xbox, they had this impersonating kid on YouTube who did the perfect Gandalf come in and play the role in all the games, and you could not tell the difference.
Right.
Yeah.
So with that respect, if somebody can impersonate Norm Spencer perfectly, freaking cast him and be done with it. On the other hand, let's talk about people who are alive. Were alive. I am of the belief that
you are alive. Yes, you are. You're alive.
Stop it. I am of the belief that every single iteration of an animated Batman should have been played by Kevin Conroy and nobody else.
Yes.
Period. Under the Red Hood was probably the greatest animated Batman movie ever made, with the exception that Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy were not in it. That would have made it, bar none, the perfect Batman movie. Jensen Ackles is the perfect Red Hood. He's perfect. There's no better Red Hood you're ever going to get. Ever.
Well, I mean, he's already aged out of that, though.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
Conroy and Mark Hamill and Jensen Ackles would have made that movie the best damn thing I'd ever seen in my whole freaking life.
Right.
Period. That's just my opinion.
Why don't you go something on the comments here? James has strong opinions about X-Men.
Let's see.
The only mutant we get is Namor. No,
but we did. We got Miss Marvel.
Yeah,
she's
although
a mutant.
She's an Inhuman because
the
guy that was in charge of Marvel was like, you can't have any more mutants. And that's how the Inhumans were born. And it's like, cool, but
but I'm sorry. Now in the MCU, they're enhanced beings.
Yeah,
enhanced.
Ladies and gentlemen, Wanda is a mutant. Get over it.
Well, no, what? I mean, in WandaVision, like they basically said it without calling her the M word. I mean, they were like, before you were enhanced by one of the Infinity Stones, you already had power, and that's That's a mutation. And we know mutations start from the comics. We know if you're in a life or death situation or in your teens. So that would have been why she was in a life or death situation. She saved who she could save. And poor Wanda.
It always pissed me off that in the early MCU, you know, the whole Avengers, Captain America, Iron Man, like why they never acknowledged mutants. It always bothered me. Like mutants have always been a thing.
In the comics or in the
No. During the movies, like especially when they introduced Wanda and Pietro in the movie, why were they not called mutants?
They didn't have the rights to the word.
Yes.
Through the comics,
they had the rights to the character, what they looked like, their story, everything, and they couldn't use the word mutant.
They couldn't use Scarlet Witch or Quicksilver either. They were never called that.
Yes.
Until they got the rights back. So, yeah, that Fox had the rights to those until what was it, like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they had been trying really hard to get all of that back because I know that Kevin Feige. Sorry, I was thinking about James Gunn for a second. So, Kevin Feige, he started on an X-Men movie. He loves the X-Men, but he just hasn't been able to do anything. And so I think he pushed every limit he could to get beloved characters in there, like Pietro and Wanda, but he just couldn't call them their character names, and he couldn't really use their original story of how they grew up and being the kids of Magneto, or maybe they're not, or maybe they are, or who knows, depending on which comic book you read.
Right.
But yeah, that's so I know that's why, and I would have loved it too. And I think that's why they haven't been he didn't just rush the mutant stuff out, is because he needed a reason for 4616 to earn mutants, if that makes any sense, earn them being there. So either it's some sort of brainwashing thing where we just don't, see it, or something's happened to Professor Xavier, something's happened to Magneto, something that'll have to be fixed. Maybe Deadpool and Logan and Professor X will fix it. Who knows? But being that they're starting to say things, mutants, and starting to come up with stuff like that, Namor being one of the oldest mutants, that's a big deal.
Right.
And so they're coming. And Namor was the first mutant in the
I thought Apocalypse was the first mutant.
He was the first one to show up in the comics. Apocalypse showed up later, but yeah, he was the first one. He was actually from a different comic company. I can't remember. I don't think it was Timely, but it was something like that.
Right, the Submariner Namor.
Yeah, the Submariner Namor. Yeah. He was, and they just bought the company and brought him over, and so he was the first named mutant in Marvel comics.
In comic history, he was the first mutant. In the history of comics, he's not the first mutant. Apocalypse is one of the first mutants.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but first appearance, I guess I should say.
Yeah. And James, we always think about you, James.
We do think about you, James.
As a matter of fact, been paying attention to him the whole time.
Yeah.
How can we not?
James, get on the show.
You coward. No.
Quick stay over at Phil's house drinking beers and stuff with him and get on the show.
You scared of a little girly girl?
Yes. So,
Graveyard, do you want to?
I have a segue. I have a segue to the next topic.
We have segues?
Yeah. I mean, so we talked about the MCU reboot.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we switch gears and go to the DC reboot?
Again.
The what now? No, I'm just kidding.
So, Forrest, if you want to share out that, you see that screen? There you go. All right.
All right, take it away, Graveyard.
It's so pretty.
I am not a DC expert by any stretch of the imagination.
But she is.
Exactly.
I am not. I resemble that remark.
So,
shush.
do we think? Okay, I know you guys discussed this a little bit on Distance Nerding. Mm-hmm. Do we think Ezra Miller caused the universe reset in DC?
No.
You don't think his actions, they decided that Flashpoint was now instead the soft reboot of DC, though?
I think that Flashpoint is one of my favorite like crossovers, just because of the whole Thomas Wayne as Batman, and it was wacky and dark and all sorts of fun. It was all based on who Flash had interacted with and what he thought of them, and that's how they were remade. Anybody else stayed the same. So you could have a reboot. And I know they were talking about Flashpoint early on in this. And so I think that it was a chance. Initially, it was a chance if, let's say, Gal Gadot didn't want to come back, or Ben Affleck didn't want to come back, or Henry Cavill didn't want to come back. They could use this movie to bring in new people. Well, now James Gunn has kind of taken that, hey, this Flashpoint, and just gone with it because they got a new 8 to 10 year plan. So instead of shooting themselves in the foot and saying, hey, none of these movies are going to matter in a couple of years, they're saying they're going to fold them in. That's good business. Right. So, but I think it was going to. I don't think we would have had Ben Affleck much longer as Batman anyway, even if they'd stuck with the Snyderverse stuff. And I don't know about Gal Gadot. She seems pretty like dialed into Wonder Woman, and I think maybe Cavill was like, I don't know if I'm, ready to do this 5-10 more movies or whatever, And so I think that they were hedging their bets in case they did need to recast. But yeah, I honestly believe it was going to reset a few things. Because I know the company was not as happy with Snyder stuff as the Snyder fans were. So,
see, and I've said this before, and I think I said this. It's before Marvel came along recently, not recently, but 15 years ago, DC was the superhero powerhouse.
Yeah.
And I'm hope I am proven wrong, but even with all this stuff, I'm hoping that with Chapter 1, it gets taken care of. I always thought DC was better at standalone movies and having things not be connected, that they were movies that held their own as it was. It's the Dark Knight trilogy. It's arguably some of the best Batman movies.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, and they didn't even start talking about connected universes until Marvel was doing it.
It didn't
honestly.
It didn't need to.
Well, and with Batman, you can do Batman by himself and not have him interact with anybody else, and he's fine with that. You know what I mean? It's like there have been so many times in the comics where he's like, I don't care what you're here for, get out of my city. I don't care what you're here for, get out of my city. And, and he said that to Superman. He said it to everybody. He does not give any bat fucks. He really doesn't. So, it's like, okay.
That's 2 for Jen now.
I had to say that. Yes. That was required. But no, I mean, I liked the movies pre-Snyder, the Batman movies. I liked the Snyder stuff. I loved the Wonder Woman stuff. Now, maybe it's just because I'm a huge Wonder Woman fan and I've been waiting so long, like my whole life, to see Wonder Woman on the big screen, but maybe not. But the other stuff, I don't really care about Ezra Miller's Flash.
No, screw him.
Shazam's fun. I like Shazam. It's fun.
I love Shazam. That is such a great movie.
Yeah, but I'm not like so invested in it that I'm like, oh, you can't. You can't change it.
But here's the problem with, and maybe Chapter 1 will fix it. And other people have said it. Shazam doesn't fit in a dark, brooding Batman movie. He doesn't fit into it yet.
Right. Yeah.
Yet.
But I'm just saying that the problem with these trying to connect these movies is they are so totally different that combining these characters didn't mesh well together.
Oh
That
yeah.
you couldn't have Superman in that dark, brooding world. It's not his character.
Right. Well, and
Which-
they didn't do that with Wonder Woman. She
Which-
wasn't dark and brooding. She was like, oh my God, look, there's the baby. And oh my God, there's ice cream. I was like, you know what? I feel like that every day.
You know, Man of Steel, to me, was a good standalone movie, but that also I didn't feel like that was Superman.
Right.
Yeah.
That was a much darker, I don't even want to say the word darker. I want to say desperate. Like there were points in that movie where humanity was pushed to desperation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, and they had Superman on their side and they were still very desperate.
Yeah.
The Snyder Cut, there's a lot of points in there where it just gets real desperate.
Yeah.
And that's not Superman's vibe. Superman is there to be the cliche, save the day. And
Yeah.
you're supposed to feel good and positive and like, look at this dude go.
He's the
like,
Boy
it's
Scout.
It's like, go Spidey, go Superman, go. You know, it's like, cue the
Yeah.
but you know, you're supposed to get that vibe. And when he hit the screen, you didn't feel that vibe. It was just another one of those dark, you know, he takes off and it's like a gunshot and they play the real it's like, okay, you know, can we get out of this for a minute? But no, that's not DC's vibe.
Right.
Yeah, and I agree. And Henry Cavill did an amazing job in the movies.
He did.
Yeah,
he did, but Henry
it just
Cavill
wasn't the tone of it wasn't the essence of Superman.
No, and his communication with Batman in the whole Batman Superman movie.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, you
there
mean the
was-
Dawn of Wonder Woman?
there was
'Cause that's the only- that's
there was
what
no
I call it.
attempt at civil conversation.
Mm-mm.
There was no attempt at it.
No.
Like, you know, the bat is dead, bury it. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as Jedi Knight Jeff points out, Batman and Superman are yin and yang, two sides of the same coin. One is dark and brooding. One is full of hope.
Yeah.
I mean, and
If you want to
thank you.
get biblical, one is Michael, one is Lucifer.
I sensed no bit of hope in Superman and Cavill's Superman. Like, there's just no hope in him. It's, I fly around and break stuff and save Lois.
And
That's it.
he's more than that. Like, he cares
So
about
much more.
every person on the globe. It doesn't matter. He doesn't look at America versus others. He's a global hero. He wants everyone to be safe. And a lot of that couldn't be portrayed with the tone that they picked for Snyder. But I think Cavill, if you had said, hey, we're going to lighten this up, Cavill would have been like, absolutely, let's do it. You know, I mean, I think he can do it. He can play comedy. He can play a straight man. He can, play goof or whatever. And we saw glimmers of that in those. So I am sad that he's not going to be Superman, but I do think that we will get a better rounded Superman in the future. And so I'm looking forward to that. And the movie they've got that they want to do for Superman, I think is going to be amazing. And I cannot wait because I loved All-Star Superman. I loved that whole first arc.
The kid from Seventh Heaven on the CW back when it was the WB, and he's Clark in Superman and Lois. I think he's a fantastic Superman.
Yeah.
I really do.
Oh, yeah.
I think he plays
Tyler Hoechlin?
Tyler Hoechlin.
Yeah, I think
something like that.
Hoechlin.
He's a fantastic Superman because he's able to be sympathetic and he's very protecting and he can be positive and happy. Like, he's not brooding, and I love that about him. He's a much better example of what Superman should be.
Right.
Graveyard, Take us back to the chart.
Yes. Okay, so I mean, so we have Shazam obviously next month. We have Flash, which I mean, I haven't watched the past couple DC movies, and that's the thing. It's not interesting enough to me. I'm hoping this changes it. I really do. And I don't disagree with their else worlds. It's kind of their what ifs, right? These are things outside of that stuff. And I don't know, like I think they did a big injustice because the CW shows were so much better than the movies and not incorporate all that together. You know, I think they really need to, and hoping with the TV show, the live action series, the animated series, that they're doing that there's all in connectivity, that they span the multimedia and different forms of media and stuff like that. But I mean, it's, you know, I don't know anything about Blue Beetle. I know nothing about Blue Beetle.
Tiny.
You know,
you got to get into Teen Titans, New 52's Teen Titans, and
he's in
they cover him very, very well.
Yeah,
it's actually a very likable character.
Okay,
he is. He's kind. I feel like he's more like a Spider-Man in DC than anybody else. Like, I think Blue Beetle's like that, especially now that it's Jaime. I mean, when it was Ted Kord, it was different, but with Jaime, because he's kind of that everyman, and this kind of happens to him, and it's just kind of him dealing with it. So he's that new hero that makes those mistakes and gets into scrapes, and I didn't mean that to rhyme, but and so he is that. To me, he's that like Spider-Man type, where he's that like down on the streets neighborhood kid, and he just happens to get this beetle stuck to his back, and it will not let go of him.
He's your friendly neighborhood beetle.
Yeah. And it's bug related. Oh my god.
And then we got what? And then on Christmas we have Aquaman.
Yes. So, okay. I mean, the always joke, Big Bang, Aquaman sucks, right? Aquaman sucks. He sucked forever in any portrayal they had up until in media, movies, TV shows, right? At that point in time, to get made fun of a lot.
Alan Rickson. Woo! Alan Rickson. Woo!
But do we? I mean, we have the reset happening after Aquaman. Now, do you think it's a good thing because then we can get Lobo?
I think he'll make a fantastic Lobo. I do.
I really honestly think he will make a better Lobo than an Aquaman. Lobo just is really he feeds Lobo's chaos. Like his whole persona. He is a chaotic person. And so I think he would be. I think if he stays as Aquaman and they actually let the people doing the film and the actor really take charge of it and make it their own, I think it would be fantastic. I think he'd be fantastic as Aquaman.
20 years ago, had they done it, if they had put Rob Zombie in the gym for 2 years, he'd have been a great Lobo too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he would. Yeah.
That would have been sick.
Yeah, Lobo is. I love Lobo. I don't know why he's so horrible, but I love him so much.
So I mean, I think it'd be good. I think this reset's needed for the DC universe. Yeah. I really, really do, and they're going to do it first. Now, obviously, it only became because of what happened with the Falling Out and James Gunn taking over, and it really needed this. Do you think we'll get this on track? Do you think this reset will be better or worse than Marvel's?
I think it has more of an advantage than Marvel's does because they're doing it at a time when the DC stuff had kind of come to a standstill.
Right.
Like the Shazam, I think that the Shazam, that's continuing that story. And we had been promised a Flash movie, and I'd heard about Blue Beetle for a while. I think, and Blue Beetle, I think, is staying. And then the Aquaman, yeah, they, of course, we were going to get a second one, and they'd been talking about that for a while too. So they wanted to deliver that, this, like that part of it. And then after that, they're just like, okay, let's scrub it clean and start all over again. And I think that way they do have an advantage. With MCU's reset, we're so invested not only with the characters but the people that are playing those characters that rebooting or like recasting some of them could really wrinkle a lot more noses, because right now DC's just like, hey, look, I'm new, we're doing new stuff, here we go. And MCU, you know, like Kevin Feige's like, hey, I've been here forever, and guess what, we're just gonna redo all this stuff because you know what, we, you know, these people don't want to be under contract anymore. And so I think DC's will be seen more creatively, whereas MCU's may be seen more corporately, I guess.
Yep.
Does
so
that
moving
make
ahead,
sense?
yes.
Okay.
So chapter 1, and it's a big chapter.
Well, this is
only part of it.
It's only part of chapter 1.
This isn't the whole thing.
But
this is huge. Let's start at the beginning.
This isn't the first time that we've gotten 10 things scheduled out from DC and it didn't come to fruition.
Yeah.
We've been here before with DC.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
yes, James, you are correct, and I think you said it very well.
Yeah. So here's let me ask everyone here. Let's look at chapter 1. What are you guys most excited for in the chapter 1 that we see right now?
Batman.
Let me get my top 5 out. No, I'm just kidding. I do actually have a top 5, but I'm so excited. I'm like, you guys don't even know how excited I am about the Authority. I have been wanting this. I have been like, I didn't say it out loud at all. I was like, wouldn't it just be amazing if we got an Authority project? I would love that. It's such a great series, and I can't believe it. Nobody's even tried to do it. And then he said it, and I was like, how did you read my mind? Oh my God, I was so happy. And then he said, Paradise Lost. Right?
Because you've gone on Twitter, James, listen to me.
Right. Hey Mezzo, there's your YouTube short. How did you read my mind?
Yes, exactly. There you go. And then he said Paradise Lost, and I was like, we're getting a Wonder Woman show without Wonder Woman, and it's all about Paradise Island / Themyscira. I'm so excited. So, I mean, there are so many, and that a lot of these projects I already, Lanterns, Blue Beetle, Supergirl, Waller, so excited about all of them. But coming as a comic book fan and him referencing comic books as like, hey, this is where we're taking this from, made me feel a lot better, because I'm like, I really wish they do the Titans Judas contract. Just that. Don't make it another character, and that's what the Titans show did. They made it a different character, and they made it a little bit different in it. And I liked it, but it wasn't the same. Anyway, but, we all have those storylines that we love. And for him to actually be saying, hey, this is the comic we're going for. This is who we are doing. This is Waller is coming from the Suicide Squad. We're taking it out of that. Paradise Lost is going to be about the Amazons. And there's actually a series called Historia, Wonder Woman Historia, and it's actually about all the Amazons. And Wonder Woman, I think she's in the last one. I'd have to see it again, but I do think that that they might use stuff from that, and it's just so cool because it's such just everything he said. It's like the best of the best storylines, like the really cool stuff. Right, but I'm so excited, and you could ask me tomorrow and I might say, oh, I'm really, really excited about Lanterns, or I'm really, because I really am. I'm really excited about all of it. I think each of the titles that has been mentioned opens up a different part of the DC like world building universe. You've got your creature commandos, and they are all your creatures. Waller's government, You got Superman, so he's your, role model. So other
Hope
role
so.
models, are going to come there. Lanterns, you can bring in detectives like The Question. You can bring in the Spectre. You can bring in Phantom Stranger, Dr. Fate, even Mr. Terrific. I mean, even Plastic Man or Elongated Man. Either one of those could come in too. They're all in that realm. So, I mean, you start seeing how the world will build itself just by that. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow.
That looks awesome.
Yeah, I haven't read that series. I really want to. But that could bring in, you gotta think about it this way. She's out in space. She could bring the Omega Men in. She could bring in the League of the Legion of Superheroes from the future. She could bring in, because, they go and look, they need somebody to come and help them with something. They could find her out in space. There's so many things, but she brings that cosmic level stuff, just like Lanterns does, but hers comes from a totally different place. Swamp Thing brings in all the elemental people. You've got the green, but you've also got, brings in all of that stuff, like all of the saviors and protectors of Earth.
Jen.
What?
Hey there.
Yeah. Did we just have a holy shit moment?
Yeah,
yes,
a
we
little
did.
bit. Hey there, new rock stars.
Hi, new rock star.
So do you think, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
2 questions. One, do we need origin stories for Batman and Superman again? I say no. I think we know their origins enough. We can just move on with the story. It doesn't need to be the story, right?
I prefer actually just bringing them all in. And then, because when comics first came out, sorry, going to go on a rant again. When comics
wait. Give her the rant screen. Boom.
Nerd out.
Batman, when Batman first came out, they didn't tell his origin. It was just, hey, here's Batman, and he's fighting these guys, and he's the good guy. And you just ran with it. So I really would, more than anything, I want them to earn the origin story.
Right.
Tell a story of them just in the mundane, hey, this is a day in the life of Batman. And you tell it that story. And I do think that Reeves does that. He shows the obsessive nature of Batman, and I think that that's great. And the first one shows a lot of promise for movies after that. So yeah, no, I want it. Just throw us in, throw us in on everything.
Completely agree.
And don't even, and then let us catch up, obviously, but earn the origin, earn everything that you are telling us.
Yeah.
So let's camp at Brave and the Bold for just a couple of minutes. So on Distance Nerding recently, Jen, you, me, and Phil were doing our thing there, and we got into Brave and the Bold, and we were talking about how Gunn was like, this is heavily influenced by the works of Grant Morrison. And I made the observation after going and pulling a list here. My turn. So I pulled the list.
You're
of
a big boy now.
So, I pulled the list of the complete Grant Morrison reading list, and there's a total list, from trade paperbacks, hardcovers, and then it's gonna have there's even individual things like geez and crow, what was it, Robin 153 through 155, which is nuts. But one of the points I noticed they made was that they are not discriminating, because they're pulling from the classic, they're pulling from the New 52, and they're pulling from Rebirth equally. So they're treating it as one long continuation. It's not like they're saying, okay, well, the New 52 made the last 100 years of DC completely pointless.
Yeah,
right.
It's bogus.
It's like that's just kind of what it is. So anyway, I went and found all of these comics, and lucky me, it was recent, but the works of Grant Morrison were put into 3 volumes of an omnibus
Nice.
Yay! I love
with
the omnibus.
individual so there's 3 volumes that I have in my Amazon cart, and I went to the comic shop today, and there's still so much more that's left out of those volumes of the omnibus. For example, they left out Final Crisis.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I got the whole damn
Wow.
thing.
Ooh.
They also
I bet that
left.
smells so good. New graphic novel smell. Actually,
What
it's not a
was that
graphic
white
novel,
stuff
trade.
coming off while you were snorting it?
I was about to do this for Mezzo, but and then another one they didn't include was the What Happened to the Cape Crusader.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
So,
Neil Gaiman
like,
and Andy.
Yeah,
Andy
all of
Kubert.
that.
Oh, it's
So
Neil
I had-
Gaiman?
Yeah, that's
I
Neil
had-
Gaiman.
Nice.
I had to get that. And then Phil was talking about Morrison, and he's like, well, okay, so it's not part of, the reading material, but you just need to have it because it's my favorite, and it's the first thing I saw there today. So Phil, this is for you. Bam.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
So I picked that up. So my Grant Morrison, again, this is Brave and the Bold prep for me.
Yeah.
I want to get this whole reading list. I want to read all of it and then go into the Brave and the Bold movie or whatever it is they're going to do, series of movies, and see how faithful they stay to it. Obviously they're going to make changes. I know that, but it excites me. First of all, it gets me back into DC. I've been in Marvel so much. I haven't been in DC in forever, and it just felt good to go in there and just get some trade paperbacks and hardcovers, and I got some stuff on order. So I'm real pleased. Like, I'm very, very, very excited to get back into that reading material. But no, I think with everything that Brave and the Bold is going to cover, it's gonna be a fantastic piece of storytelling without the need for an origin story. Like, we're just being thrown into the thick of it. And I think that's wonderful. Wonderful. Well, the Mezzo, honey, get your ass on the screen.
Yes. I mean, like I said, this is the backdoor pilot for Nerdout.
Yeah,
It
there you
really,
go.
really is.
Plus, we got some game stuff coming up after we're
Yes,
done
we
nerding
do.
out about this. And I'm
So
very excited to do
I have
that.
a question,
Yes.
or
Yes.
I might have something. Hopefully,
Mhm.
I remember it because
Yes.
I was thinking about it while Forrest was talking. So what I was going to ask is, I mean, are you, as a fan, is it more important to you that the character looks correct? Is the essence of the character like really embodies that? Maybe it takes a little bit of liberties with the story, but it's the essence? Or does it have to be look the right thing, have the essence, and has to stick to story? Like, what would you say?
I'm going
Essence.
first. I'm
Okay.
going
Go,
first.
do it.
My turn. Let's go back to Cavill. Cavill was Superman.
Mhm.
Cavill was a fantastic essence of Superman. But to me, Cavill was not Superman. That was not Superman. That was not truth, justice, and the American way. That was not bright blue skies and puffy white clouds. That was not, the original Christopher Reeve Boy Scout, positive light of hope for the earth Superman. So I would say it has to be more than essence. It has to capture the character in its entirety. I'm not saying has to be look, has to be essence, has to be everything. No, I'm saying you got to sell me on Superman and what Superman is supposed to be. Period.
Okay.
And what we got out of Cavill was not, and this is not Cavill's fault. This
Right.
was Cavill's direction, and this was Man of Steel and Batman versus Superman's writing.
Yeah.
And the brooding and everything else. I get it. I understand. But that was not Superman.
Okay,
so
then let me back up a little bit. for essence, I do mean that. I meant like with Superman, it would be truth, justice, American way. That's the essence of who he is. That he is the hope. He is, so that's that's what I mean. Honestly, that's what it is. Like Batman. Batman is brooding. He's dark. He's that ninja assassin that's going to come and you'll be dead before you even realize it. I mean that. And yes, I'm going a little extreme there, but it really is that he's that dark detective. He wants to work at night. And Wonder Woman, she's truth. She's about truth. And is it black and white? Is truth shades of gray? And it's her finding that out and going and being that naive person coming into man's world and having to realize all the nuances. And just stuff like that. And that's the big three. But I mean, that's what I mean by essence. I mean, like what the comics give us as their core being. And so I agree with you with the Cavill. I think it was the writing. I think he would have been a great Boy Scout. But yeah, but that's what I meant by essence. So I'm so glad you went first, so I could.
Yeah.
Graveyard, what's your take on it?
I'm gonna have to go with essence because, like I said, if I look to my left and I look at my omnibuses I have, first off, it's all Evil Dead. Second off, Dresden Files. But then it is X-Men, Spider-Man omnibuses.
Right.
And what gets me is the omnibuses stop and you can pick up with smaller ones and they're missing 3 comics in the middle. Because I went and I started collecting every comic of Spider-Man and X-Men. I started at Spawn #1 when I started comic collecting. I had every Spawn, I had every Venom comic. Like I said, I'm definitely a Marvel fanboy, but just because I know the comics better. And when I started collecting comics,
hey, it's Aubrey!
Yay! Who's co-directing? Because somebody's like clicking on stuff, and it ain't me.
We need to show the comments. But I think we need to have the essence of the characters because we've seen that you don't have to have an exact storyline to make a fantastic movie as long as you get the essence of the character. And they look pretty close to the comics. We don't want Batman wearing, a purple fedora, pink,
hell yeah, we don't.
A pink scarf and just wearing, a Hot Topic shirt. Right?
Yeah.
That's not Batman. It's not. But we got to have close to look. Obviously, colors pop out more in a comic book than they can in movies, but the DC was so muted they had to go to the darker colors, and that's why they changed Superman's outfit to get rid of the red spandex. It was more of a full-on bodysuit, and I think they can take the essence, they can take the look, and Marvel's really proven that you can have a really comic accurate thing because you can have it bright and vibrant. Shazam's bright and vibrant and looks great.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, no, totally agree. But so Aubrey, did you hear the question that I'd asked so that way?
No, would you I think I did, but can you repeat the question?
So my question was, like, what do you prefer? So like, do you prefer, like, with your comic characters, do you prefer them to be like they have to look exactly like the person, the character that they're portraying? Is it the essence, like the core of that being? So like,
okay, yeah. So I did hear this, yeah, and I was like, can I jump in? I'm ready. I'm ready. Get me in the ring.
Absolutely.
No,
put her in, coach.
Put me in, coach. Come on. Okay. Sorry, completely different. All right. Anyways, so first I will say I think essence matters, like how Thor's. I think you were talking about Christopher Reeves. To me, he is Superman, and it's not even just. I mean, again, like I don't think Cavill did a bad job, but I had no interest in watching any of them because the essence wasn't there. They're like, we're gonna make this all dark and broody, and the thing is, it's not Superman. Like nothing makes sense in any of the story is badly told. Man of Steel is just really badly told. If you're going to make a dark storyline, at least have the characters' essences be there, because then you're gonna have them act naturally. You can have Superman act naturally
Yeah.
in that positive. You know, you can have this arc of him being this positive, like good person, have all this shit happen, and then you can have that happen to where it's
Yeah.
like he's trying to deal with a bad situation that's happening, and maybe even possibly hurting himself in the end because he's trying to, you know, fill everybody else's spoons. You can have a Superman that does that and does it well. Okay, so you know who I actually think filled this role really well. Again, this is one of my guilty pleasures we talked about, but Lois and Clark, I thought that Dean Cain did a fantastic job
Enjoyed
of
that
filling
series back
Christopher
then.
Reeves's shoes. I thought with what they did, the storylines that they did, I thought they were really well done. They were handled extremely well. I mean, you don't need to make it this whole like, you know,
Dull. The word is dull.
dull
for me.
and convoluted story like Batman v Superman. You did not need that story. That story was stupid as fuck.
Mhm.
The only good part
Well, I'm
was
sorry.
Wonder Woman.
Let me-
The
yes,
only good
What are you
part
talking
was
about?
Wonder Woman.
So that's 2 for Frey, 1 for Aubrey, and 0 between Forrest and I. What the fuck, Forrest?
So yeah, I will say that.
Cheese stands alone.
I mean, again, Ben Affleck. I think Ben Affleck actually was a great casting. He knew the character. He was playing the character. Like he knew so much about the character. I think he knew it. I think honestly, it was just the writing was so bad that's why people were like, Ben Affleck isn't a good Batman. No, Ben Affleck could have been a really great Batman. He had the mannerisms down.
He was a great older Bruce, older
Yeah.
Batman. He
Yeah.
really was. And like I was skeptical.
Hell
and
yeah,
I
Dark
liked
Knight
him for
Returns
a
is
while.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I love the Dark Knight Falls, and the Dark
Yeah.
Knight Returns. I actually listened to it on audio cassette with Mark Hamill, and they did a rendition of it for audio. You know, it was a brain needs to work. I know I had copies. This should be good. It was no, it wasn't quite. It was a dramatized. It was a dramatized audio story of the Dark Knight Falls, and Dark Knight Returns, and it was just one of the most fantastic
Oh, wow.
versions of the story. Or sorry, the Dark Knight Falls, and the Dark Knight Rises. I apologize. It's about when Bruce got his back broken by Bane, and Azrael took the guy that was supposed to be Azrael takes over as Batman, and then starts to go crazy because the Azrael programming. Because of the Azrael programming. Yeah, I
Then
it's
Nightwing
really
takes over.
it's really fantastic. However, that is not shown, and there is a rivalry between Bruce Wayne and Clark, Batman, Superman, that already could have been in there, and they do a good setup, but it's so convoluted.
Mm-hmm.
It gets so convoluted in Batman versus Superman, BVS, that it's like, what? Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, I like the concept of Superman is fighting, you know, Zod, and shit gets destroyed. And yes, there should be consequences for that. And Bruce is there and sees that. I mean, you already had a good enough setup. You don't need there to be even more of a convoluted, weird setup. And then they're like, Martha, and it's like, what is a Martha?
Yeah,
Why did you say that?
And it's like this inconsequential. It's stupid. It's like it's so dumb, and it just makes it objectified. And it's like, oh yeah, now we're friends because of this weird thing here about Martha. And it's like, yeah, God, it's so dumb. It's just stupid. It's stupid as fuck. You don't need it.
Well,
You have so many great storylines. Actually, the best one that does that whole rivalry thing, great, that's so fantastic. Sorry, is the cartoon that shows it's the Justice. It's not Justice League. It's the Adventures of Batman and Superman.
Yep.
And the first episode does it so well. You have, you know, Batman meets Superman. They have this fight, and then Superman does his like laser eyes and goes, Bruce. And like Batman has like the perfect comeback. He goes, you peaked, and like hits him in the face, and it's like fantastic. And then like it's like, oh, so you know who I am, but I don't know who you are. And then you know, Superman flies off and then becomes Superman, and he's like talking to Lois on the phone, and then he notices like,
Binoculars.
yeah, the binoculars, and then he like, and there's Batman just going, hey, now I
Yeah.
know who you are. And it's so fantastic because he says so much about both the characters and how they act and how they do things. And you don't need this weird setup. I hope they fix that in these new films. Anyway,
I really think that they will. I think like the Brave and the Bold is going to be not necessarily a happy sunny Batman.
No,
but
he's not.
He will be a more seasoned Batman, and so I do think that it may be they're in.
Yeah,
they
even if they do
have
like
a relationship.
Yeah,
and
even if they do like if they do a Batman Beyond, I think it'd be fantastic if they got Michael Keaton back to do old ass Bruce
I
Wayne.
love that.
I think that'd be
That would
fantastic.
be really good. That would be extremely good.
Oh yeah.
And hell, you can
Graveyard
have even Robert Patterson be Terry. I mean, I think that would still work. I like Robert. Actually, it's funny. The more I see of Robert Patterson's stuff and like who he is as a person, the more I like him. And he is just brutal when it comes to Twilight. He makes fun of Twilight so much. It's hilarious.
Don't we all, though?
Yes, but I mean, the way he does it, he's just like, why do you people like this film? It's awful. And it's just so funny. But when I watched him in Tenet, actually, was when I was like, this guy's really good. Like, he's actually like a bona fide, real great actor. I love Tenet.
Yeah.
But I had to explain what was going on the whole time to my mom watching it. So I was like, oh yeah, space-time continuum. Space is kind of like this circular wobbly, it's a timey-wimey wobbly squiggle circle thing. And my mom's going, what? I'm like, Mom, what's happening is that you have to have these, it's the catch-22 perpetual motion of, it's the time paradox. She goes, I'm like, okay, Mom. But a lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people don't get it. And also it's very meta. It's the protagonist. It's a very meta story. Anyways, great film. I like it. A lot of people thought it was overrated. I did not. I think it was just the writing is so, it's not made for stupid people. And I hate to say that sounded like that, but it's not. But it's a fantastic movie. Anyway.
Graveyard, is there anything on our list here that you want to cover before we move on to our next bit of fun?
I want Swamp Thing.
Wait, what? You want Swamp Thing?
Swamp Thing, yes, because I want Heather Locklear back.
Oh my God, Swamp Thing! I'm excited for Swamp Thing. I love the '80s Swamp Thing. I think that's the first. I loved that film. I was like, yes, every time like. Because I first saw it at my dad's, I think, and I was like, "Can we watch Swamp Thing?" I just loved it.
No, I think Swamp Thing is more of the horror side of DC, and we can definitely get into that. Obviously, I'm gonna like horror stuff more, but I think this is flat out DC's answers to Man Thing being in Werewolf by Night, 100%.
Yeah,
because they tried the TV show and it failed horribly.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope Green Lantern is better. I want more for Green Lantern.
I mean, is there any way to go other than up? I don't think they can go any
I mean, especially with Ryan Reynolds.
Thank you.
Yes, I love the original Swamp Thing film. I just saying, I loved it.
No,
I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, no, Say Wong says, does anyone watch the original Swamp Thing?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
I love Swamp Thing film. We should do a rewatch of it again. We haven't all watched it, but I'm saying we should do a watch of it.
That fix. I was actually, when I went to Universal Studios, I was on the Swamp Thing set for their little boat tour.
Oh, wow.
In 1990. So I was on the set where they filmed Swamp Thing because
that's really cool.
That's neat.
It's such a good. I mean, it's so good. Such a good.
You know, back in 1990, folks, that's when Graveyard's beard was half of its current length.
Fair.
It's a lifetime of growth.
Yes.
But no, I'm just
when he was but a babe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful for the DC universe at this point in time because, like I said, it was always. I think DC was we talked about like the corporation versus the heart of making these movies, and I think when they started this Snyderverse stuff like that, that it wasn't the heart, it wasn't the fans, it was the corporation making the movies. And now I'm hoping that James Gunn, that he's able to get these people that are passionate about these stories to have that passion show into these movies.
So do you? Sorry, I'm on this Green Lantern thing. I apologize. I can't get off it right now. Do you want a Hal Jordan Green Lantern, or do you want John Stewart? Or is it John Stewart?
John, give me John all day.
I know, I love John. Yeah, it is John Stewart. Yeah, do you want John Stewart or do you want Hal Jordan? I like John Stewart. I think I like Hal Jordan, don't get me wrong, but John
Hal
Stewart
Jordan is a misogynist,
Yeah.
sexist pig.
Yes, to be fair.
Sorry,
yes.
but
John Stewart is much more interesting of a character. I wish they had done a Green Lantern, had Avery Brooks be John Stewart. I think he would have been a perfect. He's not too old, obviously, but Avery Brooks would have nailed that character so good. So
yeah, he would have been great.
He would have been great.
Thought about him.
I love Avery Brooks. He's a theater actor. I love him. I think he's fantastic. I want him in everything. I want Space Dad and everything. Anyway.
No, I think people are in the chat are saying that we're getting both, and I think we have to have the original Green Lantern, and then
we can work our way to John Stewart. Yeah,
we can work our way into the Lantern Corps.
Well, yeah, it also now, like, there are 2 Green Lanterns that are of Earth. Like, we did get upgraded to another Green Lantern for this sector, probably because we're all rebels and we break shit. And
yeah, so this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, that's why we can't have nice things. We have to have 2 Green Lanterns. So both of them being on there, I think it's going to be great. And Hal and John are so much alike, yet so different.
Oh, they're so different, though.
Yeah, like their ideals are different, but the way that they come at problems and how they solve them are very similar. And so I think it'll be a really good dynamic. I would love to see the other Lanterns. I'd love for them to introduce Kyle at some point. I'd love for them to introduce. Yeah.
I think I think John has always been was my favorite. I don't think I know Kyle very well, unfortunately, so I don't know enough.
To me, is much more 3-dimensional. Whereas, they made Hal really, like, he was pretty like, hey, if I can, get a leg over on this girl, I'm gonna do it. And that was really it for a while. He was like their answer to Iron Man when Iron Man got popular, really. And it's just like, okay, no. So when they killed him off, I was like, yes, yay,
Yay! Yeah. I read this comic, and it was actually the return of Oliver Queen.
Oh, yeah.
And that was really interesting. And he had no memory. He had amnesia for like the last 10 years. It was really great.
No, he's failed the city.
Explosive amnesia.
Well, it turned out like it was post crisis on Infinite Earths, and they go to and it's like post Hal Jordan's death as well, and he's no memory of it. He has no memory of Crisis and any of that. So he had to, and it turned out that that Oliver Queen, the reason why he didn't have any memories is because he was, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't ruin this comic for you. Oh well, it's been like 20 years since it came out or something like that.
It's
so
okay. I think we
I'm like, wait, this is like been 20 years. What am I ruining?
Did I do that right, James? Did I do that right?
He does that. That exactly. He's
Mez. But yeah, it turns out like he's like a hollowed husk of the actual like Oliver Queen. And Oliver Queen is still in like the Afterrealm. So that's why it's only been it's at the point of like before Crisis, because it's like not him, and there was his butler was trying to, I don't know, it was a weird ending, but the whole thing with Hal Jordan is Hal Jordan being already dead, and then you had Oliver Queen having to deal with it, and all he could think of was his son.
Yeah.
It's really great. It was really an endearing comic.
It was a really good arc.
It was good arc.
It really was.
For Oliver Queen. It really humanized him.
So can we, to wrap this up, can we all pretty much be in agreement that this new direction that Gunn is going with the DC universe, and the fact that he's going to be pulling from basically all three realities here, original, New 52, and Rebirth. Do we think this is going to be a good formula for DC moving forward?
Yes.
I hope so. I'm so
Yeah.
done with the dark. I'm so done with it being like only dark and gritty.
Yeah.
No more. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
they
Just
went
no more Zack
way
Snyder. Just
far
get
on the
Zack Snyder out of there.
the pendulum of no, it has to be so reality based, and this is
But
how
it
reality
isn't.
is.
It's just awful
And
and
it's not. It's
convoluted.
like you can't sacrifice the essence of the character to make them depressed.
Make it
I
make
mean,
sense.
honestly, yeah, make it make sense. Earn it. And yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I agree. I think that I'm really excited about the new direction that DC is going in because of how they presented it. They presented it with comic arcs, which tells me that not only are they invested in the movies, but they want the comics to be successful so they can continue to get storylines from the comics. And that's how you do it. And
yes.
yeah,
just take direction from the shows, because the shows in a lot of ways did a lot of things right.
Yeah, they balanced it.
They balanced
the fun with the grit, and I think that's what you have to do.
Yeah, Grant Gus. I can never say his last name.
Grant Gustin.
Yeah, Grant Gustin. Just
Hashtag
is
Force
the
is Flash.
Flash. Yeah, he's hashtag my Flash too. I think he balanced it really well. And then you had the Arrow, which was very gritty. I think they needed to go that direction with Arrow. I thought it worked really well.
Have a rivalry and a friendship of two polar opposites.
And their episodes together are the best. Honestly, when they're on screen together, like I love the one where they switch bodies. It's the best.
Oh my God. And Barry and Supergirl together is like the most beautiful chemistry I've ever seen.
Yes, they are really fantastic.
They've got that platonic and male-female friendship like down to a T.
Same with Felicity and Barry as well. I thought they also had this really beautiful friendship. I liked Felicity. A lot of people may not have liked Felicity Smoke, but I liked her. I thought she was like
I dug her. I thought she was really cool.
I
thought she was like
until like they got together and then they had to make things like make them dramatic. You know how that happens, like when people
the convoluted dramaticness.
Yeah, and
I mean, you could already have things built into that.
So it was
make
just
her the Iris 2.0, basically.
Yeah. Oh God,
you didn't
Iris,
need that.
Don't even talk to me about Iris. I don't.
Oh no! Did you not like Iris?
I'm not an Iris fan. No.
Well,
she's kind of whiny, and
I was gonna say
she's grown. She grows a lot through the episodes, through the seasons.
She's gonna be a badass, but she's still gonna get her ass in trouble. I don't even want to talk about it right now. Give me a Lois.
Season 5 and beyond kind of became the Adventures of Iris and Friends. So, but anyway, yeah. So, we are. So it's fair to say, internet, that we are very excited about what DC is doing.
Yes.
It's got.
I hope God they need to. They need to do better.
It's got me excited enough to get back into my comics, and I'm very happy about that.
Awesome.
Thank you,
I
Free
bet
Girl.
they smell amazing. I love the smell of comics.
Snorting coke again.
I need to get more comics. I need to get back into reading comics. I've read a few of the New 52s like 10 years ago. I need to get back.
Graveyard. What's the score? What's the score? You're 1. The ladies below are 2. I'm at 0. Right?
Yep.
For what?
Okay. So
what are we talking about? For what?
The amount of F's dropped tonight. Yeah. So.
I'm like,
I'm a sailor, so I mean, just imagine that I'm just gonna shoot F bombs and any type of expletives all the time.
You may not have heard it. I said bat fuck.
So
and
let me.
Out of context, it sounds really.
Hey, I almost said I'm back, you bitches.
So the other night, and this will be part 3 of our Kyber cave, and we're gonna go over tonight. And I don't really give a shit. So the other night we had a Nintendo Direct, which was absolutely the best Direct we had in the last 2 years. And when I say that, this Nintendo Direct was fucking fire. Okay.
He did his 1 F-bomb. Hold presses. Stop the news. Okay.
So the first game we're gonna show was actually it's It's a graveyard pick because he wanted to get Mrs. Fours involved in this one. It's a multiplayer, so this is Disney's Illusion Island, 4 players for Nintendo, and this is the trailer.
Yes.
Adventure awaits Mickey and friends on Illusion Island. Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, and Goofy. Embark on a new adventure to find 3 magical books and save the mysterious island of Monoth. Run, jump, and swing to explore every nook and cranny of the island. By unlocking special abilities, you can reach new places and find secret areas.
This is giving me Mickey Mouse's Adventure vibes.
Round-pound barriers
This is
to
giving
open
me
new spaces
Pitfall vibes.
and glide through the air
What
to
is
reach
it?
distant
Pitfall
platforms and
from
hidden areas.
Pitfall, okay.
Each
Where
character's
you had to
personality
swing over
shines
the
through in their
crocodiles
actions.
and stuff,
Up to
and you had to
4
go down
pals
and
locally can brave
it's
the
just
island.
giving me those
Share a
vibes.
hub
I don't
for
know why.
extra help.
Oh,
Play
Aw.
lead for larger jumps, or drop a rope to lend a hand. Work together to save Monoth, and you might discover new paths. While exploring the island, you'll meet unusual allies and dangerous foes. Study their movements carefully to figure out the secrets to victory. Join
Interesting.
Mickey and friends on a high-flying adventure in Disney Illusion Island, swinging onto Nintendo Switch July 28th.
Again, this just reminds me of Mickey and the Mysterious Circus and Mickey's
So-
Adventure.
So that's the idea. So I want, because I know you really like the Mickey SNES games.
Because they're good.
I'm just saying that we do those for the Retro
Because
Alco,
they're
and then we
fun.
do this. Then we do this game to see how it compares.
Okay. Yeah, this
Oh,
is good.
there you
I like
go.
that. I mean, I think that's great. Oh, by the way, I got your shirt.
Did you?
It's amazing. I
You
was
like
gonna
it?
I was gonna quickly get changes to it and then like show up on with it, but I won't. I didn't. I wanted to just get on.
But Forrest is going to show us what's next to give us a breather between the horror.
okay. So next week on the Thursday night Kyber Cave Gaming Live, Mrs. Fours, I need you to be there, and if we
I will
can
be
get
there.
Anthony there,
Mhm.
it will be voice acting heaven
Oh,
because
good.
this is what I have been waiting for like a year and a half, and the demo dropped last night, so I have it downloaded, and next week we're playing this shit. I
Okay.
am proud to present Sea of Stars.
Oh,
Mhm.
I already like the music.
The music is from the same composer behind Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross
Oh,
and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
yeah.
Yep.
Yasunori. Yeah, Mitsuda. Or
This
Mitsuda.
is a spiritual successor to Secret of Mana and Chrono Trigger.
Oh man, that's awesome. It looks really beautiful. Awesome. Nice.
I like the little boat.
Look at the sky. That's how they shine for you. Well, we all know the great kings of the past are looking down at us from their stars.
God, this looks amazing.
This looks
Uh-huh.
amazing.
Cut.
Nice.
Yeah.
That looks
So-
amazing.
If that's a successful demo, this might have to be a Two Queens playthrough.
Yeah, this might be
That it
This-
looks really cool.
Oh,
because we need
yeah.
Anthony with his
Mhm.
his amazing voice acting skills, and of course Mr. Fours and I, because we're hilarious.
Shut up.
And then
No direct is
No
complete.
doubt. I'm a strong
Zelda.
independent woman. Hell yeah! Oh, sorry.
So this
I mean,
is
what?
this is our newest Legend of Zelda. We've been waiting 6 years on this, and well, just see for yourself.
I still need to get Breath of the Wild. I still need to play it. I'm so behind.
I'll bring it with me on my trip.
And finish Twilight Princess. But I know the story of Twilight Princess at least.
Sweep over Hyrule. Eliminate this kingdom.
So the question is that Ganon speaking for the first time?
I don't think so. This is probably the wizard. I wonder. Anyways, I could be wrong. Looks beautiful.
Yeah, it does look cool.
But Link, I am not sure you'll be able to stop him.
That feels a little Uncharted for me.
That feels a little what?
Uncharted.
It's Skyward Sword, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels very
It's just
Skyward
funny, yeah.
Sword. The music there, the look looks very almost like Skyward Sword.
That's John Deere's new line of tractor.
Yeah. When you really need to mow.
I know it. I know the story really well. I was, but unfortunately, I had to move when I was playing the game, and I don't have a Wii. My roommate did. So, but I had the game.
That is this year. That is that is right after I get home from Cali.
That is right after my birthday.
Oh.
So the question
Because
is,
I was born on May 4th.
question is, will this be the most dark and brooding since Twilight Princess or Majora's Mask?
Possibly.
I think
I
so.
don't know. Possibly.
I have no opinion.
I mean, I will show you that they actually made Ocarina of Time the saddest Zelda. There is a master, like a master class about storytelling and why it's actually the saddest, like the most subvertly or subtly the saddest Zelda. It's very interesting, the storyline and everything about it. It's a masterpiece. Both of them, Majora's Mask and Ocarina, are still masterpieces in my opinion. And the darkest.
So this one made a lot of people happy and pissed a lot of people off.
Oh,
Say
good.
Wong be one of them.
Yeah, Sewong's one of them. So we've been waiting on Metroid Prime 4 for like 20 some odd years.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe this is going to set the stage for it. So,
Oh, Metroid. It's a Metroid.
so
Okay.
Metroid Prime remastered for Switch.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Let's see. Wow. It looks beautiful.
Are there any spiders in it?
Not gonna lie.
The music is amazing.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, that's
Sewong,
cool. I
you
wonder
and I
if this
both
is a
know that
VR
they're
game.
setting the stage for 4. You know 4 is coming.
Yeah.
But it's probably going to be on Super Switch or Switch 2 or whatever they're going to call it.
Or even an Oculus. I wonder if you can play this almost like VR style. Looks really interesting. That's what it looks like from this.
It does. It looks very like
Yeah, it looks
you're
VR.
living it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that was cool.
Yeah.
That was
This looks
Ridley.
really interesting. That was what? That was
Ridley.
Ripley?
Ridley.
Oh, Ridley.
Yep. Named after.
Ridley Scott.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Oh.
So,
And
yes.
Gotta love it.
da-da-da-da-da-da.
I think it was second from the top, wasn't that?
Oh, yes.
Started at the bottom.
I got the demo
was
for
second
this,
from
and
the
this
top.
is also going to be part of our demo night.
Yep.
Mm.
Kirby.
Oh, this is
A
Kirby.
new story will unfold in the Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe game.
Mhm.
Oh, fascinating.
Lore. the interdimensional traveler from the main adventure has lost his powers and must escape the realm between dimensions.
So happy, sleepy.
All he can do now is a basic attack and jump. To regain Magolor's powers, you'll need to collect magic points by defeating enemies. With magic points, different abilities can be restored and enhanced.
This reminds me of a certain someone from Mario RPG.
Or increase his attack range. The order in which you restore his powers is up to you. There are over 20 interdimensional
Yes,
stages
I saw
to
that too.
explore. Up to 4 players on the same system can venture through this mysterious realm together.
Same system, though.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Can Magolor restore his powers and safely return to his world? You can access this new epilogue after clearing story mode.
Neat.
So that's going to be really cool.
That's really cool.
After today's Nintendo Direct, a demo will be available on Nintendo eShop.
Whoa!
Players
Well, that
can play
was
a
just a
specially
cute little
arranged
fire
demo
dragon.
with select stages and
Yeah.
sub-games.
Yep, there is co-op in
Kirby's
Kirby.
Return to Dreamland Deluxe launches on the Nintendo Switch system February 24th. Pre-orders are available now on Nintendo eShop.
Wow.
I'm bringing that with me, and I think
Awesome.
Aubrey, Yumi, and Mel would enjoy playing that one.
Yeah, I think so. Though Fire Emblem is like one of Mel's favorite games.
I have Fire Emblem Engage. I've been playing it like a madman for the last 2 weeks, and I'm so sold on it. And it's got the greatest theme I've ever heard out of a Fire Emblem game ever. So I'm
Awesome.
extremely happy with that. So that's just kind of a tidbit of what came out of Nintendo this past. I mean, we got Pikmin 4. We got
Pikmin 4. Oh, Pikmin. I love Pikmin.
We got the fashion show game.
Oh yeah, we got the fashion show. I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, we'll check Pikmin and then we'll be done.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is
But I
Pikmin
love
4.
Pikmin.
And,
Oh,
and this one is like,
I miss this game. Miss playing this game.
Sewong, I've got that too. And I still had to buy the season pass.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, But that Divine Edition
I
is so
didn't know that
sick.
they had so many. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm like on nostalgia.
Like right here, this proves that we've pushed the Switch as far as it can go. Like this is ridiculously amazing.
It is.
Like, we
I
need a
will
new
agree.
system. We need
Oh,
it.
absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Look at them. Wait, they oh my god, they're so cute. Sorry. My badass persona is just totally just demolished now.
They're so epic cute.
Kawaii man. Oh my god. Nice. Nice desu yo. Oh. Kawaii ne. I can't! Oh my god! Oh no! Oh my god, it's happening.
Get out my way.
So cute!
Oachi.
Oh.
Oh, wow!
Oh
Oh my god.
Oh my god, it's so cute! I can't with this game!
Oh.
Oh my I love this game so much.
No, it's not Olimar this time.
No. This is the first time it's not Olimar?
Second.
Second? Oh.
Oh my god.
They've been working a long time on this.
I know. Sorry,
That
I was
looked
just like,
cute.
oh, I remember playing the first Pikmin game. Oh, I loved it so much. This is so cute. Uh-oh. Okay, that was so okay. That was
That's like
worth it.
11 days before my birthday.
Um,
So, what the idea?
My
you know, we're-
birthday's the soonest.
Is it?
It's Wednesday.
It's
What?
Wednesday.
Happy early birthday, Jen.
And how can a 25-year-old have a 20-year-old?
I don't know.
It was really hard to
Graveyard
explain.
Smooth. That was gravy smooth.
So with these new announcements, obviously we're excited because we wanted to play a lot of these demos on the live channel that we do on Thursday.
Yeah.
And we also want to incorporate some of these stuff and have Patreons vote on games they also want to see us play throughout the year.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome idea.
I'm still also just so excited to play Silent Hill with y'all. It's gonna be great. I love it. And apparently with the remake.
And we've got plenty of shows to be able to do this stuff. We've got Retro Alcove. We've got Two Queens. We've got the live Thursdays. We've got just recording stuff. I mean, there are so many avenues and so many different days we can watch things. We just have to get the games and iron the shit out.
Right.
So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for pluggables. So let's see, round robin here. Let's start with Graveyard.
I'm Graveyard, co-host of the Mostly Pod at Night, Mostly podcast. You can find our podcast. We release them every Wednesday at midnight. Any place you get your podcast, I'm uploading to YouTube so you can listen to me and Salem talk to you about horror movies while you go to sleep at night without flashy pictures. On top of that, you can find me Retro Alcove gaming with all these wonderful people at Kyber K Productions. Also gaming live with Fours on Thursdays, Kyber K After Dark. And please don't forget that tomorrow is a very special KyberCon where They Mostly Pod at Night is a sponsor. And not only that, you can get a discount code to get some discounts on our merch for They Mostly Pod at Night. So, so you have to go there to get the code. And Tuesday's distance learning. No, distance learning. That's only if Destiny's down on Tuesdays. Thursday's distance learning with Build.
Jen.
Oh, it's me. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I am Frey Girl, and I'm actually I mod for New Rockstars. I do their Discord. You can go if you're 18 or older. Come and talk with me any night. I'm usually there on and off pretty much all day. And then Monday through Friday, I do the Break Room. I'm mod for that, and it's an amazing show that is very chaos friendly. And so also you can catch me on Distance Nerding on Tuesdays usually when they invite me to be crazy, because I totally am. And sometimes on Thursdays on the Build, I do enjoy watching Phil build stuff while we talk nonsense about everything. So
in the bracket.
And then Fridays, Kyber Cave After Dark. You can usually catch me here. I do have a lot of opinions, and I do say them freely. So
and we love them.
Sometimes, occasionally, I'm funny, but yeah, and that's it.
You're always funny. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. That's okay. I'm always working on my tight 10. I actually started putting a couple shorts on my channel. It's just called Frey Girl, and then my son and I are thinking about starting a podcast, like a short podcast about just stuff that we're interested in, and so I'll put it on that channel as well. So I'll keep you guys in the loop about that. But yeah,
Yes.
so mwah, mwah. Good night, my lovelies. I hope you guys
Good
have a great rest of your weekend.
Mrs. Fours.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Forrest. As you can see, I put new stuff for BYL. You can also go check us out. It doesn't even show it. Whatever.
Yes, it
You
does.
can check
We
us-
see it.
Okay. Well, you can check us out on all these things. You can also check us out on, BYL on Spotify, Apple, and other places. Yeah, you can also find me on Instagram as well. I'm at Luthien the Fair. You can also look up my own personal album on Spotify under my name, Aubrey McCoy. And yeah, you can always come to my shows. I have a regular Wednesday show in Rio Vista. Yeah, from 7 to 11ish. If you want to come and sing a song and get a drink and do all the things, like come and see me.
And where
She
you gonna
also
be?
wears all the hats.
And where are you gonna be tomorrow?
Oh, I'm gonna be at KyberCon 3, passing out these things and also helping out
So people
and
can
hanging out with John, because that's the thing.
and get your autograph, right?
Yeah, you can get my autograph if you want it.
I want it.
I'm-
I can't
Aw.
do
I want your autograph because you're cool. Watch that man's or listen to that man's podcast. It's amazing.
It's also on YouTube now too.
that. It is.
Yes. All right.
Hi.
Hey there.
All right. So
I'm
one
dead.
night,
Hey there.
one night only until I'm allowed to do this again, if I'm ever allowed to do this again. My name is Fours, and I am the leader of this mess of merry cave dwellers. If you are a collector of sabers, then I recommend you increase your collection by going to kybercave.com and getting yourself a saber, and then, and only then, go over to saberfont.com and get yourself a sound font. Put that on your saber and thoroughly enjoy all the work from myself, Fours FX, and the work of some of my friends. That would be Harry Solo Fonts, Juan Sith, Lars Blocko, just a plethora of really great folks who've put a lot of work in over the years to get so many different sounds to put on your sabers. If I'm not doing that, which I'm totally not right now, you can find me here on the Kyber K Productions channel. I'm doing quite literally everything I possibly can. I'm wearing all the hats over here. If I'm not on this show, I'm on Distance Nerding both Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm here Friday night. I'm on some Mondays on the Retro Alcove with Graveyard because that's his baby. And then, of course, Thursday night gaming live after Distance Nerding's The Build.
Mhm.
So it is abso-freaking-lutely nuts. So with all that being said, we encourage all of you one more time to go ahead and visit KyberCon 3 tomorrow. And
I will be there.
And
yes.
we will not. So you guys have to go and have fun for us.
Yes.
Is
So-
what it means.
So again, back at the beginning of the show, I posted all the information. It's going to be a really great time. And again, I'll reiterate this point. For a con this small, you are not going to get a guest lineup this unbelievably amazing. You'll have to go to a big con like SAC Anime or Dragon Con in Georgia or MegaCon in Orlando to get the kind of guest lineup that KyberCon's got all set up. It's disgusting how Van and Mezzo got this arranged, but
And it's so economical.
yeah.
We've done a ton of work.
$10,
Mezzo and shout out to Brad. They are the goats.
all the
Like,
things,
for
But I mean,
all
KyberCon
the
3.
things.
For the price that you have to pay and you get all of the wonderfulness that
perks,
is.
mhm.
Yeah, I mean, because most
Freaking
of the
go.
ones that you mentioned are at
Yes.
least $30 or more a ticket
Yes.
a person.
45 at the door for a lot of these cons. 45 at the door. That's
So-
not including
Some
your
are
travel,
even more
your
expensive
toll.
than that. I mean,
Yeah.
at the Fanime convention, the FanCon, they are like upwards of 100.
Correct. Same
some
with
of
Star
them,
Wars
so.
Celebration. So, with all of that, happy weekend to all of you from Graveyard, from Frey Girl, from the magnificent, beautiful, wonderful, lovely Aubrey / Mrs. Fours, and myself. We'd like to wish you all a wonderful,
wait.
wonderful
I have one
weekend.
more thing.
Peter wants to talk loud.
Yes. For everyone watching this now and anyone that's watching in the future, this was, like I said, the backdoor pilot for the Nerdout. Please comment. Let us know if you want that. If you want to see this as another show on Kyber Cave.
Doing the nerd out. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Let us know in the comments down below.
I was gonna say I'll talk a lot.
This was his idea, and I think it
I'll
worked
talk
out
a
beautifully.
lot.
So,
A lot.
from
I like
all of us
nerding
to
out.
all of
Yeah.
you, may the fours be with you, and these local folks will see you tomorrow at the con.
Yeah.
If not, we will see you on Sunday for Saber Rattle.
Not
and if
Sunday.
we don't see you, if
Not
we don't
Sunday.
see,
Oh no, yeah.
There's
There's
a
a con. They're not
superb-
There is no Saber Rattle Sunday.
There's a superb owl
This
going
Sunday.
on.
Yeah.
This Sunday there is no. There is
wait,
this
if there's
Sunday
no
there
Saber
is.
Rattle Sunday, then that means Fours is going live with some gaming. So
Oh,
just
there
saying.
you go.
See y'all next
Also,
week.
I just got my my cord so that we can get on with it with Mario
Time.
RPG. Anyway, bye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Let me get this thing. Where's the freaking videos? Here we go.